The DLP leader is confident of victory at the next general elections. Dominica has partnered with Argentina for a shelter for abused spouses, and the DDA reports on Dominica's quest to realize at least 90,000 stayover visitors by the end of 2015.
Thank you for joining us for another edition of National Focus. I'm Colette Ambo.
And I'm Jarna Hector. Stay with us for details of these and other stories after this.
If you can believe this,
come by my house and let me show you some movies.
why can't you believe this? Some mothers don't believe their own children when they say they've been sexually abused, and they don't report it. Remember, if anyone asks to see or touch their private parts, touches them inappropriately, shows them or forces them to touch one's private parts, has sex with them, shows them pornographic material, or deliberately lets them hear or see the act of sex, then it is sexual abuse. Believe your child and report the sexual abuse. For more information about child abuse, contact these agencies. This message brought to you by UNICEF and this station.
Thank you for staying with us. The Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit is confident that the Dominica Labour Party will be victorious at the next general elections. The Dominica leader, addressing the close of Parliament late Tuesday evening, said he is proud of the achievements of the DLP administration over the years and is looking forward to leading the country following the next general elections.
The fact of the matter is, the vast majority of Dominicans will continue to place their trust and confidence in the Dominica Labour Party. And that's why we are assured that whenever elections are called, Madam Speaker, that this party will be back in this Parliament, leading this Parliament, Madam Speaker, with an increased mandate of seats in this Parliament, Madam Speaker.
Parliamentary Representative for the Cottage constituency, Honorable Reginald Austrie, in his address to Parliament on Tuesday evening, expressed confidence that Dominican voters will re-elect the DLP into office.
We went on a campaign in 2005 saying to the people of Dominica that things are bad. And there's a great possibility that things could get worse, Madam Speaker. At this time, we had reduced their salaries. We had imposed the destabilization levy, Madam Speaker. We had tremendous difficulties, Madam Speaker. The only thing we did not do at the time was to send public officials home, Madam Speaker. And we're very honest and open with the people of Dominica, and we told them that that was likely to happen, and brace yourself. But if you give us the opportunity, we will fix it, Madam Speaker. And the people of Dominica put their confidence in us, Madam Speaker, and gave us the mandate in 2005, Madam Speaker. And we began turning things around, that they gave us a second mandate in 2009, Madam Speaker. And we have seen the benefits of that, Madam Speaker. And I'm sure that come next time around, they'll give us a third mandate to continue to govern the affairs of this country, Madam Speaker. Because we have done very well. We have done extremely well, Madam Speaker, especially when it comes to cushioning the impact of those economic challenges for the less fortunate, the underprivileged in our society, Madam Speaker.
Dominica's move to geothermal energy can be a game changer for the country. This is according to British High Commissioner Victoria Dean, who visited Dominica's geothermal plant in the Roseau Valley during his second visit to the island last week.
It's not for the UK or any other country to determine how Dominica should have its energy mix or secure its energy provision. But it's clear that you have a real challenge here. Dominicans, as I understand it, are paying the highest price in the region for electricity. And that, as well as being difficult for families and individuals, is a huge burden on businesses and therefore on the possibility for real economic growth. So tackling that in some form is clearly, it's right that that should be a priority for any Dominican government. And you have a real possibility here. I'm not an engineer, I'm not an expert. I did go and see the plant, but I still am not an expert. But you have a real possibility here, if you can make it work, to move to a point where you no longer have to rely on imported diesel. And that will make an enormous difference to your economy.
According to Ambassador Dean, the venture's true game-changing qualities will prove themselves if the country is successful in generating geothermal energy in a safe and secure environment in order to export to other countries.
In more news, the Honorable Minister for Public Works, Energy and Ports, Rayburn Blackmore, has confirmed that the current administration has spent over $560 million to develop the island's infrastructure. The Honorable Minister told Parliament on Tuesday that government continues to invest heavily in the rehabilitation of roads across the island.
Over the 10-year period of time I referenced just now, Mr. Speaker, on roads, bridges, and city fences, we as a country spent $376,751, Mr. Speaker. For the improvement of our airport, $160 million. 100% of it coming from grant funding, with some by way of counterpart funding. For seaport repairs and improvement works, some money was spent there also. Over $4 million we have spent from a local fund for the period of time I'm referencing. We have done much more by now. For geothermal, we have spent, Mr. Speaker, $54 million thus far.
The Roosevelt Iscariot-led administration continues to pay particular attention to the enhancement of early childhood education in Dominica. The Honorable Minister for Education and Human Resource Development, Peter St. Jean, in his address to Parliament on Tuesday, explained that significant amount of financial resources have been spent to improve this component of the education sector.
In 2005-2006, Madam Speaker, the government of Dominica spent $51,500 on early childhood education to assist teachers. In 2006-2007, $48,700. 2007-2008, $64,300. And in 2008-2009, it moved up to $75,571. In 2009-2010, $76,870. Madam Speaker, in 2010-2011, $765,700. No, I'm not very good at mathematics. But Madam Speaker, if you look at the incremental increase, you will realize that this thing grew exponentially. But Madam Speaker, significantly in 2011-2012, this government, the Labour Party administration, spent $1,414,053 compared to an average of $30,000 under the United Workers' Party.
The Honorable Minister also provided details of initiatives by government which has transformed the early childhood education sector.
Early in 2009, the government of Dominica sought to address the matter by facilitating the registration of preschools. And once these facilities had met the required standards, a grant of between $1,500 and $2,500 based on the school population has been made available to each of the 67 primary or preschools on a termly basis. So every 3 months since 2009, each of the 67 preschools in Dominica, once they meet the required standards, is paid between $1,500 and $2,500 to assist in ensuring that these practitioners can carry out their duties. In furtherance of the implementation of universal early childhood education, Madam Speaker, last year, 2 training sessions were held for 22 early childhood centers on the high scope curriculum. And over the past 2 years, new preschool facilities were opened in 15 primary schools where there was available space.
Meanwhile, the upcoming fiscal year 2014-2015 will see some major developments in the St. Joseph constituency. The Honorable Parliamentary Representative for that constituency, Kelva Daru, made these remarks last Friday when he addressed the House of Parliament during the 2014 budget debate. The St. Joseph MP noted one of the major projects which will be undertaken this year is the Bells Water Supply Project.
The contract has already been signed to a tune of $4.5 million that will provide water to the communities of Bells, Penrise, Pont-Cassé. 2 storage tanks will be constructed, a 45,000-gallon tank and a 30,000-gallon tank. The government of Dominica has placed tremendous emphasis to ensure that every community in Dominica can have pipe-borne water, potable water at their homes. And Bells is the last area that this has to be accomplished. And in this financial year, we will see the commencement of works on the Bells water supply that will serve the communities of Bells, Penrise, and Pont-Cassé, Madam Speaker.
According to Honorable Daru, there are also plans for the development of the Layu Valley area.
That is from the Hillsborough Bridge up to the Glosho Bridge. We recall this area was impacted by the collapse of the Marty Dam, and now we are in a position, Madam Speaker, to begin the works on this area in this financial year, as well as the construction of a disaster and community shelter for the community of Layu. All of this in an effort to provide a facility where the community can have social programs and the training programs, as well as a disaster shelter during the hurricane season.
The Honorable Parliamentary Representative pledged his continued support to farmers in his constituency for the upcoming fiscal year.
We'll continue to provide further assistance to the farmers throughout the constituency. That is why we have spent in excess of $400,000 throughout the constituency on farm access roads, in Petit Marcoucherie, in Bells, in Mero, Cuba. All of these areas have received some level of assistance on their farm roads. But we are quite aware, Madam Speaker, that we have a much bigger program under the banner accompanying measures that will in fact see the complete rehabilitation of the Mero Cuba Road, the Atlee Road, and several other roads throughout the constituency, because this constituency continues to be one of the major famine belts in the country.
Honorable Daru highlighted that other developments in his constituency will include the installation of 20 additional streetlights throughout the various communities and the construction and rehabilitation of bridges in the village of Bells.
In more news, midway into 2014, and Dominica is doing well to meet its target of 90,000 stayover visitors by the end of 2015. GIS News spoke with Colin Piper, CEO of Discover Dominica Authority and Director of Tourism.
June 2014, we showed a 5.2% increase in stayover visitation for the month, with over 5,000. We actually had 5,080 arrivals for 2014 over 2013. And year-to-date growth so far, meaning January through the end of June, is at 5%. So we've got just about 38,813 visitors so far this year, and so we're about 5% ahead of where we were last year, so we're tracking well. Our target, however, for this year is 7.6% growth. So although we are tracking well to date, we're still a little behind our target. So we want to keep our eye on the target. That target would be about 84,257 visitors this year. Hopefully for the second half of this year, we can push it. We can push it, and if we have a good summer, July, August, if we have a good independent season with World Creole, and we have a good Christmas season, then maybe we can get to those numbers. And then the important thing now is that you know, we have to build upon that for next year. All of next year now, we have to have those people come back again, or tell a friend to come back, or tell 2 friends to come back. So we need to build upon the numbers that we have had this year.
The CEO says Dominica is making a name for itself on the international market.
In terms of France, is doing well so far. We're up about 32% over last year, so we're doing good things in France. We also are actually doing well with visitors coming by air. You know, maybe because we've had, in addition to Liat, we had Winair, who has recently come on board in February of this year. And so this is their first full summer. So we're doing well. And then we're also doing well in terms of hotel occupancy. Hotel occupancy thus far through the year is tracking at about 60%, which means, you know, 6 out of every 10 rooms is being filled, and hopefully that's, you know, providing some sort of revenue and income for the hotel providers.
More than just counting visitors, the DDA head says the economic returns from tourists is a significant part of the overall objective.
We now have to start informing a little bit more about not just the visitors, but what we would want them to do by way of economic activity. That's the most important thing, especially for the hoteliers at this point, is to make sure that the visitors that come and stay at hotels or in paid accommodations and do things like rent vehicles or rent a taxi or go out and purchase things so that there can be increased economic activity.
Piper called on stakeholders, that is every Dominican, to continue playing their part.
Tourism is in fact everybody's business. We've got to play our part. So everybody in Dominica has a part to play in terms of helping us with these numbers. It's based on the product that you have, the service that you offer, and how you evangelize about the destination, what it is that you can do and see on the destination. So whether you're here in Dominica or you're abroad, the call is certainly going out that you know, we need to continue and band together to try to achieve that goal.
A center for the protection of abused men and women will mean a lot for the island when established, according to Dominica's Gender Affairs Minister. Honorable Gloria Shillingford has revealed to the nation that plans are afoot for an abuse center for the island.
For some time now, we have been trying to ensure that we have battered men or battered women be placed somewhere in a safe house, or sometimes we also call it a halfway house, so that they can be safe until alternate arrangements can be made for such men or women. The problem is that you need to be able to take a battered woman out of the situation so that the person can be given counseling, if need be, medical attention, and to have the person safe until either the person decides to go back to the home, but not to the same situation, and to be able, whilst the person is there, to be able to get control of herself mainly, and in the case of a man, himself.
The aim, the minister says, is to prevent further abuse and fatalities. She acknowledged that government has been aware of the need for a safe place for domestic abuse victims.
It is almost a mandate on the UN Women that every country do have somewhere, a halfway house or some place that battered women can go to. It is something like it would be something almost like the chances where we're taking children at risk and ensure that they are safe before they return to their homes or to a foster home, something like that. But it would really please me that this happens.
Partnership with the Argentinian government will ensure the timely establishment of such an important facility.
They have just returned, and they will be soon sending letters to the Ministry of Social Services, Community Development, Gender Affairs, and we will be taking it from there.
The Ministry for Social Services and Gender Affairs has been allocated $1.7 million for the 2014-2015 financial year.
And Minister for the Environment, Honorable Dr. Kenneth Daru, says that climate change plays a big part in the life of a small island developing state such as Dominica. The minister was addressing Parliament on Monday.
Small island developing state such as Dominica is by no choice of ours that we find ourselves placed in that part of the world, that region of the world, where every year we are subjected to hurricanes and weather events from the Atlantic. And of course, with the advent of climate change, we see that these weather events are becoming more erratic, they are becoming more intense. And what this does is that monies, Mr. Speaker, that were earmarked for new developments, new projects, every year now has to be rediverted towards restoration. So every time we have one of these events, whether the foreseen events, whether the planned ones, or the unforeseen one because of climate change, it puts us back somewhat. Because it means that a project, a housing project, some of the project that we would have planned to do, or road somewhere towards alleviating our people, this money now has to be rediverted towards restoration. So it's very important that we, the people of Dominica, the electorate, we familiarize ourselves and educate ourselves with the whole issue of climate change and to take the necessary measures.
Honorable Dr. Daru went on to give an updated report on the CDB-funded National Land Use Policy.
Cabinet has been provided, or has been presented rather, with a draft copy of a National Land Use Policy, a CDB project, CDB-funded project. And now the next step is on endorsement by Cabinet, moving to what we call a National Physical Development Plan, where zoning of areas for residential agriculture areas is now going to be produced.
The Minister for the Environment revealed his excitement as the long-awaited Disaster Risk Vulnerability Project is finally reaching fruition.
After 3 years of talk and preparation, we have completed what we call our low-carbon climate resilience development strategy. And this is a collaborative effort between all the stakeholders here in Dominica. The government of Dominica entered into agreement with the World Bank for the implementation of a US $58 million, what they call DVRP, Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project. And you would know that a few weeks ago, the Minister of Finance himself signed this agreement with the World Bank and the Climate Investment Fund towards the installation of this project. And if we go to the budget estimate before us, we'll see that almost $10 million have already been attributed, hoping to harvest what we call the low-lying fruits in this new financial year. And by the low-lying fruits, I mean probably the preparation of some of the major infrastructural projects, the construction of storm drains, and some of the other smaller projects.
Honorable Dr. Daru went on to give some of the advantages of this much-anticipated project.
It is expected that this project will undertake major roads and related physical infrastructure to include improvements in the eastern and other parts of the country as follows: Pont Cassé to Bois Diable, Bois Diable to Castlebruce, Castlebruce to Petit Soufrière, Castlebruce to Hatton Garden, to include the Carib Territory and Atkinson. It will also include, and I'm sure my constituents, for those of you who want to know what is it that the budget has in store for us, Dubic Phase 1 Cliff Stabilization and Road Project. Because we have understood that these areas, that aforementioned areas, Mr. Speaker, have been identified as some of the most vulnerable areas in terms of landslides, etc.
And that's the English news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à ces nouvelles en créole. Non moins, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, le Parlement Dominique a approuvé estimé budget que le Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt présenté en Parlement la semaine passée. Tout le monde a ce côté gouvernement là, one support pour budget là. C'est le Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt qui wind up débit là, qui pas vrai pièce taxe neuf, et qui a vraiment touché la vie tout dominicain. Honorable Skerritt dit c'est le gouvernement là qui tire taxe à ses plaisirs bagailles parce qu'on Dominica Labour Party rentré en 2000, bagaille économie était bien mauvais et puis gouvernement ça c'est Dominica Labour Party travail bien formidable manger pays là si l'on mise yo mettait en place. Parlement aussi d'accord pour prêter l'argent à banque la terre pour financer projet qui bien nécessaire chaîne mitigation bagaille changement climatique qui a bien affecté pays là. Projet comme pont Chimé, calvote en pomme d'autres qui recevait attention. Finalement, Honorable Skerritt aussi sectionné bien fort opposition qui pas engagé en débat budget là parce qu'il pas intéressant en développement pays là. En la nouvelle, un workshop qui mettait attention à ces cybercrimes ça c'est sécurité pour moun qui ka fait business online conduit en Dominique Siemens là. Parole cela sur le directeur Telecoms Dominique, M. Bennett Thomas.
Cybersecurity, strategy development, forensic, bagay forensic, et comment nous establishment ça qui est un computer incident response team. Ça dit c'est stratégie c'est comment on peut faire activité ou mettre en place pour ça supporter policy à cybersecurity. Cybersecurity c'est tout bagay internet, tout le monde sur internet actuellement. Et quand on est internet et monde là, il y a un mauvais bug qui a essayé de démanger comment on travaille. Il y a mené le computer dedans, il y a pour l'argent en banque, il y a money laundering, il y a fait tout bagay comme ça. Il y a un website, il y a déchirer le website là, bagay electronically, bagay comme ça. Donc même quand on est criminal en normal life, on est criminal sur internet. Même il y a plus mauvais passer ça. Il y a cyber criminals. So on est pour aller dans for cyber security, on peut try secure internet là against book comme ça. So workshop là bagay comme ça. Now en avril nous fait un similar bagay comme ça pour try determine ça ou la Dominique y a des bagay cyber security ça est là ni tout la criminels ça quand venir. So nous fait un gros report ça quand venir Italie Commonwealth Secretariat. So nous actuellement nous train monde. So ça nous faire c'est develop stratégie comment nous aller travailler pour against monde ça. Ça nous aller faire. Nous avons des workshops, nous avons des training, nous avons des développement monde. So ça comment understand comment pour gommer against monde ça.
Et puis finalement, le gouvernement Dominique travaille bien formidable pour le secteur agricole vivre à ses pieds. Parole cela sorti du ministère de l'Agriculture, Honorable Matthew Walter, pendant qu'il était fait contribution pour le bit estimate budget 2014-2015 en Parlement. Selon le ministre Walter, qu'a considéré le report Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt en Parlement là, est bien clair que le gouvernement Salam qu'a travaillé mené agriculture au niveau État, ça va créer the next level. Ministre Walter dit report agriculture en bas UWP, parce qu'on trouve en soulier travail Dominica Labour Party. Et le ministre agriculture déjà travaille vivre mené confidence et puis habilité habitants agriculture en Dominique. Budget là fait allocation 9,9 millions de dollars l'argent pour le ministre agriculture. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour présent. Non moins, c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
2 foods to help reduce your blood pressure coming up next.
DOWASCO recognizes that clean water is vital to healthy living. Therefore, it spares no effort in providing a clean, safe, and reliable system. Help keep our rivers safe and clean. Do not cut trees along the river banks and do not pollute with garbage, human or animal feces, and chemicals. Think water, think life.
Spinach is low in calories, high in fiber, and packed with heart healthy nutrients like potassium, folate, and magnesium, key ingredients for lowering and maintaining blood pressure levels.
Colette, did you know that baked white potatoes are also good for high blood pressure?
No, Jarna, I did not.
In fact, baked white potatoes are rich in both magnesium and potassium, 2 vital nutrients for heart health. Maintaining a healthy balance of both minerals can help keep high blood pressure at bay.
Thank you, Jarna.
You're welcome.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Friend us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica.
You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Jarna Hector.
And I'm Colette Ambo. Thanks for watching and join us again next time on National Focus.